Hi there, hello, and how are you? A very warm welcome, big warm welcome to you to the Dave Laight Be Happy podcast, where it's all doom and gloom. Only joking, that was just a joke, because we're all happy here, we're all okay, because this is the Dave Laight Be Happy podcast. This is episode 10, it's called Let Go of the Past. If you let it all go, your life will flow. Let it go, and your life will flow. The advice from this episode, this podcast, is let go of the past. It deserves to be in the past. Put it in the past and just leave it there and move on. I would like to start this episode by sharing a quote with you from a guy called Rev Run. For those of you who don't know who Rev Run is the lead singer in a group called Run DMC. Very famous group, been around for years. One of their most famous songs is Walk This Way. I love that song. They sang it with Aerosmith. Great video attached to it. Now, Rev Run, he was the star of his own show. It was called Run's House. It was a fly-on-the-wall documentary about his family life. At the end of that episode, he would be sat in the bath on his mobile phone texting out words of wisdom. These words of wisdom weren't just for the show. He sends them out every single day. They go around the world and millions of people listen to them. Now, I would like to share a quote from his book. It's one of his words of wisdom quotes. This is the book that I'm talking about. This is Rev Run's Words of Wisdom. I've given this book out to many people over the years because I believe that this book contains quotes. I recommend it to you to get this book. There are quotes in that book that will help you with any aspect of your life, from death, marriage, divorce, breakup, getting together, starting new relationships, happy, sad, successful, unsuccessful, winning the lottery, losing the lottery. Any aspect of your life, that book, there's quotes in there to help you. He's an ordained minister, Rev Run. He's now a preacher. And so he gives out these words of wisdom. You don't but know that book could be an extension to the Bible. People might laugh at that, but you don't know. The Ten Commandments came down on big old bits of stone, didn't they? So you don't know, that could be a book sent down to help us. Get hold of it. I'd just like to share this quote with you from Rev Run, from the Words of Wisdom. It goes like this: the past is history, the future is a mystery, the present is the gift of now, so live in the present. And that, to me, sounds a cool little riff, but I put it to you, it's more than that, because these are really big words. This is a huge statement. I'd ask you to read those words again and again and again. Take them serious, take them in. Here they are again, just to share with you. The past is history. The future is a mystery. The present is the gift of now, so live in the present. I put it to you, if you live by those words, you will be heading towards greater happiness in your life than you're currently experiencing. Just follow those words. Now, a big problem, in my opinion, in the world today is that there are just too many people, loads of people all around the world, who are living their lives in the shadow of their past. There's lots of wazzers out there. That's what Tracy, my wife, would call them, wazzers. I was one of these people. I was a wazzer. She used to call me Mr. Wazzer. You can hear wazzers. They say things like this: I was going to do that, and I was going to do this, and then shit happened. I was. Don't be a wazzer. And also, there's far too many people, far too many people living their lives in the present, living their lives today, whilst worrying and carrying angst in them about what just might happen in the future. And the problem with this type of thinking and existing is it stops people from truly living their lives at the moment. So live in the now, live in the present, because the present is a present. Share this little story with you. When I was a taxi driver, 3 very old ladies, very old ladies, they got into my car, and as we took off, we started driving, they started talking. These ladies, these old gals, they were old enough to have lived through, a lifetime of experience. They would have seen 2 world wars, numerous depressions, maybe in terms of economy and in their lives. And they lived a full life, being able to see all the challenges that life can throw at you. And as I said, when they got into my taxi, they started talking to me. And one of them said to me, "Young man," and being an older person myself at the time, I said, "Oh, please, can you say that again? Because I just like it. I love it when you call me young man. It makes me feel so good." So she said, "I will." She said, "Young man, I want to give you a piece of advice." She said, "Young man." I said, "What?" She said, "Here's some great advice for you. Don't worry about anything, because life always has a way of sorting things out. Now, this was and is, as I said, advice from three very, very old ladies who'd seen everything that life could throw at them. And this was and is advice that was handed down through generations of people and generations of life. And so I say to you, try not to worry about things. Try not to worry, especially about the future. I mean, plan ahead. That's a stupid thing not to do that. But don't waste your time worrying about things that often, when they come along, prove to have no worry attached to them. Another piece of advice that I would like to offer up, it comes from a speaker. Don't know where, don't know when, don't even know who his name is. But he said, don't worry until the time comes to worry, because worry is just a waste of time. And this really is great advice. But in real life, it's not easy to do that, is it? And to be honest, the speaker never actually offered up himself how you actually do it. And I'm sure if he did offer up that advice, you could have bottled it and you would have made a lot of money out of it. Now, when you go looking for your happiness, hear this because I mean this. This is not coming from some fluffy do-gooder preacher. I'm not saying it in a fluffy do-gooder preaching type of way. I really mean this, and I really mean it. I'm talking to you as an old school guy. I was brought up, this is where I come from, brought up on an eye for an eye. I was brought up on if they hit you, you make sure you hit them back harder. Brought up on revenge and vengeance. So please hear this and hear it good and take it in. If you want to live a good and if you want to live a happy life, it's vitally important, I mean really, really important, that if there are any events or people that have hurt you in the past, that have done you wrong, that have done you down, pushed you down in life, know what I mean? If you've experienced this, it's vitally important that at all costs, and I mean at all costs, you let it all go. And I mean all of it. And what's more, and this is not an easy thing to do, what's more, it's vitally important that you forgive. That's right, I said that you forgive those events, you forgive those people who have done you wrong. And what's more, it's even more important that when you are in the forgiving business, that you above anyone or anything else, it's so important that above anything else, you forgive yourself. That's right, I said you forgive yourself. And as I have said, I do not mean this in a preachy kind of way. I'm talking real. This is real time talking. This ain't soft, fluffy talk. You know, forgive this and forgive that. This is hard talk, real talk. And because I can imagine that there are those hard nuts out there, you know, men and women hard nuts, who would just laugh in the face of the notion of someone talking about forgiveness because they would just see it as some type of weakness. But I put it to you, it takes a hard person, it takes a strong person, it takes a courageous person to forgive. And to help you with your forgiveness, and this, what I'm going to share with you, helps me massively. I want to share with you, and even though I said this is not a preachy type of podcast, I want to share something with you from the Bible. All right, even though I've said this is not a soft, fluffy Bible bashing podcast. This extract from the Bible is taken from Romans verse 19. It's called the wrath of God. And to help bring alive what wrath means, because I looked up the definition of it, the definition of wrath is strong, vengeful anger. Strong, vengeful anger. Rage, temper, fury, flashing eyes, fury. So when we say the wrath of God, we are saying the rage, the fury, the strong, vengeful anger of God. And that brings it more alive to me when you talk about it in these terms. Now, I don't know a lot of passages from the Bible, but I know this one. And I think it's great. With my background, I think it's great. I can live with it from my background. And I really hope that what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to say to you now is going to really help you. Because as I've said, it's really helped me. So from Romans verse 19, here is the wrath of God. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and I will repay. If your enemy is hungry, then give them something to eat. If your enemy is thirsty, then give them something to drink. Because in doing so, when you do this, you are heaping burning hot coals on their head. I love that notion. I love the notion of extending kindness. From my background, I love the notion of extending kindness to your enemies. But at the same time, you're actually pouring burning hot coals on their heads. Fantastic. What this verse is saying, it's actually saying, look, you don't need to worry about getting even. You don't have to worry about paying back anybody that's hurt you or that's done you wrong. Because at the end of the day, a higher power, the universe, life, God is going to pay them back for you. Because vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Maybe that's where karma kicks in, because it says that what you put out into life, you get back, but you get back double what you put out. And hear this, if you harbour grudges or you live with vengeance or revenge or paying back in your life, and I know this from personal experience, at the end of the day, the only person who really and truly gets hurt by it is you. Everyone else has moved on, believe me. Your family, your friends, the world, everyone's moved on but you. You carry that in your heart. It's just pulling away at your soul. It's hurting you. It's kicking you. It's pulling you down. Don't do it. Let it all go, because you know now that life is going to pay those people back. Let it all go and your life will start to flow. Just want to share with you another damaging pastime that we all engage in. I do it. Have done it in the past, and it is very damaging to your happiness, very damaging to your inner being, to your soul, and it can lead to bad mental health. That thing that we are prone to do is to continually go over and over and over and over and over again past events that have hurt us, analysing them, reanalysing them, questioning them again and again and again and again. We keep on asking the same questions. Why? Trying to understand it over and over and over again. But we fail to come up with a conclusion. So we keep going round in that cycle, and that cycle is called rumination. It's very, very bad for you. And here's the thing about rumination. When you keep going over the same thing for sure, if you keep replaying past events in your mind, it's not going to change those past events, and for sure it will affect how you live your life today, and for sure it will colour your future, so don't do it. Here is the advice from this episode. Are you ready? Let go of the past. Forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness. Forgiving yourself especially is the key. Forgive. Move on. Just put it all down to experience. Just say, hey, that's life in the big city. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking some time out just to listen to me. This stuff that I'm saying to you is real. Real time talking from real life. It works. Please, could you subscribe to the podcast and ensure, if you do that, it'll ensure that you don't miss any episodes, and it'll also make the logarithm get this podcast in front of more and more people, and I want to try and help as many people around the world. Just a word, a phrase, or a sentence I believe can sometimes help people to get to that better place in their life, give some inspiration or some motivation. Just a key word can, change someone's life in a minute or two by changing their mentality and by changing their thinking. So thank you, as I said, for listening. Stay well, but above all, be happy. Because if you're not happy, what's the point? I'd love to see you. Would really love to see you in the next podcast. Goodbye.